Put up the accused. All stand. Are you Samuel Arthur Warren?
Yes.
Samuel Arthur Warren, you are charged with false accounting contrary to Section 17(1)(a) of the Theft Act 1968, in that you, in August 1972, dishonestly and with a view to gain for yourself, did falsify a document made for the accounts of your employers, the United Kingdom King Packaging Company, namely a computer punch card. How say you, are you guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Members of the jury, I was never particularly good at sums myself, and I dare say some of you weren't either. Mention mathematics, and some of us go a little hazy in the head. Bring up the subject of computers, and most of us retire in bewilderment. We don't understand computers, and there's no reason why we should. Normally, they are subjects best left to the experts. However, during the course of this trial, you will be called upon to pay attention to a good deal of information about computers and how they are used, and indeed misused. Because it was through his understanding of this subject and these matters that the accused was able to misappropriate the very considerable sum of £125,000 and 58 new pence. Now, if you suffer, or think you do, from a blind spot about these things, don't be perturbed. I will endeavour to explain to you in simple terms the details of the system whereby the accused made use of his employer's computer for his own gain. Now, you are the Chief Security Officer of UKPC?
Yes, sir.
Can we remind the jury about UKPC, Mr. Mortler?
United Kingdom King Packaging Company, my lord.
Yes, the company is generally known as UKPC, my lord. It would be convenient for us all to refer to it as such.
Oh, I'm sure it would, Mr. Golding.
My lord. You were formerly an inspector in the fraud squad.
That's right, sir.
Yes, and when did you take up your present post?
Beginning of this year, January, sir.
Can you tell us what happened in March of this year to concern you at UKPC?
I was called on to investigate a discrepancy in the account, sir.
A discrepancy? What exactly was it that had come to light?
A letter containing a cheque we had sent out in payment was returned to us by the post office. They were unable to deliver it, sir.
Yes. May we be shown Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Now, is this the cheque and the envelope to which you refer?
Yes, sir.
The cheque is for £2,200, is it not? Made out to a firm called Midland Wrapper.
That's right, sir.
Yes. Well, it seems in order, doesn't it? Why was the post office unable to deliver it?
There is no such firm at that address, sir.
I see. And what did you do?
Well, I made some investigations concerning Midland Wrapper. I visited this address. It's a trading estate in Leicester, and I made a search of the register in company's house. There is no such company.
No such company, yes. And what did you do then?
Well, in the course of time, I had a check made of the accounts and discovered that between August 1972 and March of 1974, UKPC had paid out £125,000 and 58 new pence, sir, to Midland Wrapper.
To a company that did not exist?
That's right, sir. I also found a considerable number of goods received notes purporting to show that UKPC had taken delivery of goods from Midland Wrapper.
Yes. Do you produce these goods received notes?
I do, sir.
Exhibit 2, my lord.
Yes.
These are the notes, sir.
And had these goods been delivered?
I checked the stock book, sir. There were no traces of any goods to correspond with these delivery notes.
So, non-existent goods from a non-existent company. Now, how then do you explain the presence of these very real goods received notes?
Well, I concluded that someone with access to the delivery notes had fraudulently made them out and then slipped them into the bag in the accounts department.
The bag?
Oh, that's the bundle of invoices and so on collected together for processing.
I see. And the contents of this bag were processed in the normal way, were they?
No, sir. Normally they were processed through the company's computer, but there was a fault and it was all being done by hand.
I see. Work normally done by the computer was being done by people in the accounts department.
That's right, yes.
Yes. Now, if this delivery note had been processed through the computer, what would have happened?
Well, a check was made to see what would have happened when the computer was working again, and it seems the computer would have paid the amount by credit transfer.
Not by check?
No, sir.
Yes. And how would this have worked?
Well, the computer would have made out a credit transfer note, and that would be sent to the bank. A credit transfer in favour of Midland Wrapper.
In favour of a non-existent company?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And how would this have been dealt with at the bank?
Through the bank's computer system, sir.
Well, surely the bank's computer would have been at a loss as to how to deal with this credit transfer.
No, sir, the bank account number on the credit transfer instructions was the number of an actual account.
Yes, I should like to clarify this. You are saying that whoever fed this information about the spurious company into UKPC's computer used the number of a bank account he had already opened in the name of Midland Rapper.
That is correct, my lord.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Were all computerized payments made by credit transfer?
No, sir. It was programmed to treat certain pays as regulars, and these were the ones paid by credit transfers. So, of course, it had details of their bank account numbers on record in its memory bank.
Yes. And did this list of regulars now include Midland Rapper?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, what was the balance in the account when you investigated it?
£125,000 and 58 new pence.
Yes. And had all that been paid in by or through the UKPC computer?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, would it be reasonable to suppose that whoever had supplied the computer with the details of Midland Rapper was the same person who introduced the false goods received notes into the bag?
Either the same person or someone working with that person, sir, yes. I decided that only about 4 people actually had the knowledge and opportunity. That is, only about 4 or 5 within the company, sir.
Yes. And was the accused one of these?
He was, sir. Yes. It was a matter of course to interview him.
And did you interview him?
Yes, sir, on the 8th of March of this year, in company with Detective Sergeant Atress of the Fulchester CID.
Yes. Where did that interview take place?
At the accused's home, sir.
Yes. Why not at work?
He wasn't at work, sir. He'd been away for several days with a slipped disc.
I see. And what state was he in when you interviewed him?
He was in bed, sir, with a board under the mattress.
And what did he say to you during the interview?
I explained, well, I started to explain why I wanted to talk to him, and he interrupted me. He said, I suppose you would like to talk to the chief executive of Midland Rapper Limited. I said I would very much like to, and he said, speaking.
And what did you take that to mean?
That he was the person who had organised this deception involving the fictitious company.
Did he have anything else to say?
Yes, sir. He said, have they totted it up yet? It's not a bad score, is it?
Yes, and that left you in no doubt that he was talking about the money paid out to Midland Rapper.
None whatsoever. None at all.
Yes. And then what happened?
Detective Sergeant Atress told him he was arresting him and then cautioned him in the usual way.
And did the sergeant take him to the police station?
No, sir. In view of his condition, we left him where he was. Because of his slipped disc. We did check that his condition was genuine, sir, with his GP.
Yeah, so there was no danger that he might try to flee from justice?
Not the way he was at the time, no.
Yeah. Now, did you ask him if he'd like to make a statement?
Yes, sir. He refused to make a statement. But he was quite willing to answer questions.
I see. And I presume you had a number to ask?
Yes, sir. I asked him where the money was. He said it was in the bank. I asked him the name and number and address of the bank and the bank account number. He told me.
You already knew that, did you?
Yes, sir. Bank codes indicate bank and branch.
Yes, and did he give the correct bank and branch?
Yes, sir.
And did he give you any other information concerning this account?
He handed me the statements relating to the account. He said, it's all still there. You can check it for yourself.
Yes, and do you produce these statements, Exhibit 3, my lord?
Yes, sir.
And so there is nothing else to connect the accused with this account?
Well, there was his signature.
His signature?
Yes, the specimen signature on the bank record card. He used his own name, S.A. Warren, signed it the same way he always did.
Do you produce this bank record card?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Exhibit 4, my lord.
Yes.
Didn't it seem strange to you that he should use his own name and signature?
Well, I said to him, that wasn't too clever, was it?
And what did he say?
He said he couldn't think of any reason for changing his name. He seemed like a lot of unnecessary trouble.
Really?
Yes, sir. He said computers don't read signatures, only numbers, so why bother?
Yes. Did you investigate the possibility that the accused might have been working with others?
Yes, sir, but everything that was done was quite within the ability of the accused.
Yes, you're saying that he had no need of the help of others?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, sir.
Yes, thank you. Now, did you ask him if there were others involved, and if so, what did he say?
He had a bit of a laugh, sir. He said, all my own work, James.
And what was his manner when answering these questions of yours?
Quite cheerful, sir, a bit on the cocky side. He kept laughing.
Could you see any reason for that?
Not really, sir, except that he was laid up with a slipped disc at the one time he needed to be on the move.
Yes, and despite the fact that he declined to make a statement, he appeared to be freely admitting that he and he alone was responsible for the transfer of this money to a bank account which he had opened and all of that involved.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And could there have been any doubt or confusion in the mind of the accused as to what it was you were charging him with?
No, sir, none at all.
Thank you, Inspector. Mr. Mortlock.
Mr. Mortlock, you've described Mr. Warren's attitude when you interviewed him as a bit on the cocky side. Would you say that he answered your questions readily?
Readily? Yes, I'd say that.
He described himself as the chief executive of Midland Rapper. Would you say he did this readily?
As I've already said, he interrupted me with that remark. I'd hardly started speaking to him.
Oh, very readily indeed, then. You also used the word cheerfully, did you not?
Yes, sir.
He was being very helpful, was he not? Saving you the trouble of persistent and elaborate inquiries.
You could say that.
So Mr. Warren was readily and cheerfully helpful to you and to the police. In your experience, Mr. Mortlock, would you say this was usual for a man guilty of a major crime?
Well...
Is it usual?
Sometimes. I wouldn't say it's unusual.
Now, do you remember anything else Mr. Warren said when you interviewed him?
I think I noted most of what he said.
Yes, well, did he say to you, how are the silly buggers taking it? I wish I could see their faces.
He did say something to
Yes,
that
did he also say to you, it was so easy, it was almost boring?
He said that or something like that on the second occasion I tried to get a statement from him, yes, sir.
Mr. O'Connor, are you saying that your client made what is tantamount to a confession of guilt?
No, my lord. Though what he said might, and indeed has been, mistakenly taken for such.
Yeah, then might we know the nature of your client's defence?
Oh, with respect, my lord, it'll become clear in time.
No, very well.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Mortlock, did you look for a chequebook to go with this account you say Mr. Warren opened?
Yes, sir.
Did you find one?
No, sir.
Well, you made a thorough search, I'm sure. The flat, office, car, and so on.
Yes, sir.
But you didn't find one. What conclusion did you come to, then?
That the accused must have hidden it somewhere.
Come on, Mr. Mortlock. Why should a man who keeps the bank statement in his bedroom, who couldn't be bothered to hide his identity or change his signature, take so much trouble to hide his chequebook?
I've no idea, sir.
Neither have I, Mr. Mortlock. Would it surprise you to learn that Mr. Warren destroyed this chequebook that was given to him by the bank because he had no intention of using it?
Yes, it would, sir. That would surprise me.
And so it might. But that is exactly what Mr. Warren did.
Collins, you are employed by UKPC as a computer programmer, is that so?
Yes.
Yes. Could you tell us, in simple terms, just what this post entails?
I write and maintain the programs used on the company's computer.
Yes. Could you explain what a program is?
Well, it's a set of instructions in a language which the computer can understand, which tell it what to do with the information you feed in.
Yes. What do you mean by language in this sense?
Any computer language is made up from a code that has only two elements, rather like yes and no. Yes is an electronic pulse, no is no electronic pulse. If you think of it in terms of numbers, a pulse is 1 and no pulse equals nothing. And those are the only numbers that computers use.
Then how do they perform these complicated calculations?
Well, in normal arithmetic, we don't have numerals bigger than 9, but we can in fact calculate much bigger sums by using the same numerals over and over again, making a string of numerals. Computers do that without the luxury of numerals bigger than 1. But the string gets to be very long indeed. 9 to a computer, for instance, is 1001.
I see. Then how do you give instructions to something that only knows the difference between nothing and 1?
Simply by using a code of nothings and ones. If you imagine a language in which there are only the letters N and O, now you could in fact make lots of words. No, on, oh no, 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 oh no, oh no, and you could go on forever. But the words would get very long and boring.
Quite.
Yes. Now, Mr. Collins, if I understand you correctly, a computer program is a set of instructions using that sort of language.
That's right, my lord.
Yes.
I'm indebted to your lordship.
Of course, there are lots of different computer languages for different purposes based on such codes. Perhaps I should give you 1 or 2 examples of those.
Oh, no, that's quite all right, Mr. Collins. Though you do explain these things frightfully well. You obviously enjoy your work.
Thank you. Yes, I do.
And did you ever discuss your work with Mr. Warren?
Yes.
Yes. And did he seem interested in it?
Oh, yes, he did, yes. He was obviously familiar with the basic facts.
Yes. Being in general terms familiar with computers and how they work, that's not the same thing, is it, as being familiar with a particular program?
No, sir, not at all.
No. Now, do you know whether or not Mr. Warren was familiar with the particular program that was used at UKPC?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, he was.
Did he ask any questions about it?
Well, questions, yes, and sometimes he'd say, is this how it goes? And he'd as good as tell me. Well, I mean, he didn't need me to tell him the sort of elementary stuff I've been explaining to you, sir. He usually had it right.
Yes. So he was familiar with the theory and familiar with the program. Was he also familiar with the actual procedure? I mean, could he actually operate the machine?
Oh, absolutely no difficulty. I've seen him myself using the terminal. That's the device for feeding information into the computer.
Yes. Tell me, could anyone who went to the terminal operate this machine? I mean, could I if I went there now?
No, sir. You'd have to identify yourself to the machine by using a particular code. Only authorized persons would know that code.
I see. But then if I knew that code, I could operate that computer.
Yes.
Yes. And if I knew that code and keyed in, say, my own bank account number and an instruction to pay me £100, what would happen?
Well, sir, it would tell you to plod off.
It would do what?
It would write out a little message saying, plod off.
Why would it do that?
Well, your instructions simply wouldn't make sense to it in terms of its program. That's how it responds to things that don't make sense.
Oh, really?
It's a little joke of mine, actually. VIPs, come around and they always want to play with the computer. That's what it says to them.
I see. That's, however, not what it said to the person who instructed it to make payments to Midland Wrapper.
Oh, no, sir. Mr. Warren's instructions were perfectly compatible with the program.
Yes, Mr. Collins, we are all here to decide, amongst other things, whether or not Mr. Warren did, in fact, give those instructions.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry.
And the computer obeyed those instructions, even though they concerned a company that was quite unreal.
Well, the computer is no judge of reality. It can only do what it's told, providing what you tell it to do is consistent with the program.
And how did the person make these particular instructions consistent with the program?
He used a spare code, which related to a company we weren't doing business with anymore. He made out a new punch card, which registered a change of bank account number for that company.
And that company was called what?
Midland Wrapper Film and Foil. It was usually referred to as Midland Wrapper.
Yes, those two words were enough.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned a punched card was used. Without becoming too technical, what is that?
Program material is fed into the computer on punched cards, literally cards with holes punched in them. The position of the holes is registered by the computer. It has a device which shines light through them, and they all mean something.
I see. And did Mr. Warren know how to prepare those punched cards?
Oh, yes, he'd done it many times.
Just a minute. You saw him doing it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And did he do that in the course of his work?
Well, he didn't have to make out his own punched cards, but he did, quite often.
Yes. And it would have been possible, would it, for Mr. Warren, simply by making out one of these cards, to change the details that had already been programmed relating to a particular company?
Oh, yes, you have to be able to update your information.
Oh, dear, this barbarous word, update, what does it mean?
Well, simply changing your information as circumstances change, my lord.
I see. Thank you.
Mr. Collins, why could not someone in Mr. Warren's position simply fed into the computer his own name and current account number and instructed the computer to pay money into that?
Well, that wouldn't be updating information, sir. That would be putting entirely new material on store.
And he could not have done that?
Well, to feed in new information of that type, he'd need to use two other special codes, which are held by me and the accounts manager, Mr. Swenloft.
And were these codes known only to you and to Mr. Swenloft?
Yes.
Yes, I see. So a simple fraud like that would have required a considerable degree of collusion, but the device of updating information and then opening a bank account to fit this information, would that have required any collusion at all? I mean, any help from anyone?
No, sir.
No. And was it entirely and fully within the scope of the knowledge and the ability that you knew Mr. Warren to possess?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins, you've told us that the accused took a good deal of interest in the computer and all that related to it. Did he concern himself with the security of the thing? I mean, against fraud and other possible abuses?
Oh, yes, sir, yes, sir. He was very hot on that.
In what way was he very hot on it?
Well, it's difficult to say. He was just a sort of bee in his bonnet.
Did he frequently mention the subject?
Oh, yes, sir. He said villains would give up raiding banks if they knew enough about computers.
Oh, did he say that in so many words?
Oh, yes, yes. He said you wouldn't have to threaten them with a gun, you'd just have to ask nicely.
And do you think there's any degree of truth in that?
Oh, yes, sir. There's a lot of truth in it.
Now, can you think of any specific instances of Mr. Warren's concern for security?
Well, there was the program itself. I mean, at first it was kept in the computer room, that is, the stack of punched cards. Mr. Warren had them moved into a safe.
Did he say why he thought that was necessary?
Well, in the first place, it cost several £1,000s to have a program like that written.
Oh, the cards are in themselves valuable, then, is that it?
Yes.
Now, did Mr. Warren ever suggest any other grounds for his concern, for keeping the cards in the safe?
Well, there was what he referred to as sabotage. If the cards got mutilated or burned, we would be in for an awful lot of trouble.
Did he suggest that someone might do that deliberately?
Well, he said it was possible, and we ought to guard against whatever was possible.
Why would the loss of those cards be so catastrophic? Would you not be able to use the machine at all?
Well, it's not quite as simple as that, sir. You see, information is stored in the form of a stack of punched cards. But in order to run the machine, it's transferred, that is, the information on the cards is transferred onto magnetic tape. Well, now, there is a problem called degradation, in which the magnetic tape gets worn and information drops out.
Drops out? Literally?
Yes, literally. The surface of the tape is rubbed clean, and you lose bits of information. Well, at a certain point, you have to make a new tape using the punched cards. Well, of course, if you didn't have the punched cards...
Yes, I think we take your point.
And did Mr. Warren suggest that there was any risk attending the making of new tapes?
Well, he reckoned that someone who really knew what he was doing could rewrite whole areas of the program in his leisure and then wait for a new tape to be made of his cards. That is, if he could get at the cards in the first place.
And did you think that was a possibility?
Well, only just. I mean, he'd have to know an awful lot. He'd have to be a programmer, capable of writing programs like that.
But Mr. Warren's concern was not unreasonable, extreme perhaps. After all, he was safeguarding his employer's money, was he not?
Well, yes.
Tell me, Mr. Collins, at any time in the 2-year history of Midland Wrapper, did you become aware that anything untoward was going on?
No. There's no reason why I should.
Despite the fact that the company went through its annual audit in the normal way?
Of course, it wasn't the normal way. It was the first audit since the accounts had been processed by computer.
Oh, are computerized accounts difficult to audit?
Well, I'm not an auditor. But, yes, there are difficulties, of course. Simply because one computer can do so much, and UKPC is a very big company. I mean, a printout of everything for an entire year, it's enormous.
Quite. It is at any rate obvious that the deception passed unnoticed. Mr. Collins, can you tell me, is it possible that any money paid out to Midland Wrapper was the only money that was improperly paid out during this period?
No, I suppose not.
Well, is it possible that other techniques, similar to the one you've described, or quite different, could have been used? I mean, is the computer in operation at the present time?
Yes.
And what's it doing?
Usual things. Stock control, invoicing, payroll.
Paying out money?
Yes.
And you, who know what this machine can do better or as well as anyone, cannot be sure that at this present time it is not paying out money that it should not be paying out.
Well, I hope it isn't. I'm fairly sure it isn't.
Yes, but in view of everything we've been told, can you be quite sure?
No.
The case of the Queen against Warren continues tomorrow in the Crown Court. Samuel Arthur Warren is accused of the fraudulent use of his employer's computer, by which he caused £125,000 to be paid into an account he had opened in the name of Midland Wrapper. The prosecution has established that Warren admitted these facts and has called a computer programmer, whose evidence showed that Warren knew enough to have given false instructions to the computer. The next prosecution witness is Harold Swenloft.
Mr. Swenloft, you are the Midland Area Accounts Manager of UKPC.
I am, yes, correct.
Now, what relationship exists, I mean professionally, between yourself and the accused?
I am, or at least I was, his immediate superior.
How long have you known the accused?
Oh, about 3.5 years, since he came into my department.
So you could claim to know him well.
Well, as far as work goes, yes.
And of course you are thoroughly conversant, are you, with the kind of work that he did?
Well, naturally.
Yes. Now, could you tell the court how the facts concerning Midland Rapper first came to your attention?
Yes. Well, it was in March. Mr. Benson, he's my assistant, he came to me with a cheque which we'd sent out, which had been returned to us.
A cheque for how much?
£2,200 made out in favour of Midland Rapper.
Yes. And what did you subsequently discover about this company?
Oh, that it didn't exist.
That must have rather alarmed you, did it?
It did, yes.
Yes. Now, the court has heard something about the existence, or rather the non-existence of this company, Mr. Swenloft. I wonder if you could tell us how, in the first place, you managed to find an address to which you could send this cheque.
Yes. The payments at that time were being processed by hand. One of the girls looked up the address in the company records.
Mr. O'Connor, do you object to this evidence?
No, my lord.
How could she do that if Midland Rapper did not exist?
Well, we had at one time done business with a company called Midland Rapper Film and Foil. They went into liquidation some time ago, but we, of course, still had records of them.
I see. And what was their address?
Bottingdon Industrial Estate, Selsey Heath.
Yes. And what made the girl you spoke of assume that this was the company to whom the cheque was due?
Well, the name, of course, and the fact that on the delivery note it did in fact say Midland Rapper, Selsey Heath.
I see. So we have, if I follow you, an imaginary company with a name very similar to that of a company that had ceased to exist, but with the same address.
Precisely.
Yes. Now, and this is very important, Mr. Swenloft, why should someone bent on defrauding your company of large sums of money choose to invent a company with a name so similar to the one that you've talked about?
Oh, because the details of that company would already be on file in our computer records, and they would have been given a code number when the computer was first installed.
And this code number is important?
Oh, yes, very.
Yes. Would it be true to say that the existence of this code number in your computer's memory served to establish the bona fides of the company as far as the computer was concerned?
Exactly that.
Yes. And was it the case that one of the things entailed by this code number was that the company was to be paid by credit transfer?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Now, and when this company went out of business, this code number was not cancelled in any way?
Well, it seems it wasn't, no.
No. So this code number, still valid, was available for fraudulent purpose?
Oh, yes, it was still valid.
Yes. And it therefore seems likely, does it not, Mr. Swenloft, that someone with fraudulent intent should make use of this particular code?
My lord, I object to my friend's use of the word fraudulent. The existence of such intent is very much at issue.
Yes, Mr. O'Connor. Mr. Golding, I think you should avoid that expression.
Very well, my lord. Mr. Swenloft, was Mr. Warren in a position to know these things?
Mr. Warren took a very close interest in everything to do with our computer.
He did, I see. And would you say that he had a thorough knowledge of the system and how it worked?
Well, of course, I'm no expert on computers, but he seemed to have the hang of things, yes.
Yes. When you say he seemed to have the hang of things, do you mean that he took a special interest in matters relating to this computer?
Oh, yes, a great deal of interest. I know he spent a lot of time with the computer people when the machine was first installed.
And subsequently, did he show much interest?
Oh, yes, indeed. In fact, people used to say, the computer was Warren's baby.
Warren's baby? Hmm. And in the normal course of his work, Warren made use of this computer, did he?
Oh, yes, he was in credit control. All their records were computerized.
So he had access to the computer and was a familiar figure in the computer room?
Yes.
Yes. And if someone had happened to notice him alone there in the computer room, it wouldn't have seemed at all out of the way?
Oh, no, not at all.
No. Now, what was Mr. Warren's salary at this time?
£2,750 a year, plus bonuses.
So he might earn around £3,000.
That's about right, yes.
A reasonably substantial salary. Was Mr. Warren happy in his work?
Well, I'm not sure I'd say happy exactly.
Why not?
Well, he'd put in for various promotions, senior jobs that were going, and been turned down for various reasons.
Yes, what sort of reason?
My lord, I object. We are not here to discuss my client's fitness or otherwise for senior management.
I agree.
Very well, my lord. Mr. Swenloft, what would you say was Mr. Warren's reaction to being turned down for these promotions that he sought?
Well, resentment, mainly.
He resented? Yes. Did he ever say or do anything to make you appreciate that?
Oh, yes, I did hear him offer his opinion of senior management in the company.
And what was his opinion?
Well, he said the company was run by, He suggested that the management was incompetent.
Yes. What words did he use?
He called them a shower of pompous penguins.
Yes. Did he ever call them anything else?
Yes, he called them zombies on one occasion, and... oh, yes, he said if we allowed funerals on expense accounts, we would discover that they were already dead.
I see. And how were these clearly resentful remarks delivered to you? In anger or what?
Well, just, well, sarcastically, that's all.
I see. And what did you do when Mr. Warren delivered himself of these opinions?
I said if that was how he felt, it was no great surprise that he wasn't exactly shooting to the top.
Quite. Now, when was Mr. Warren last turned down for one of these promotions?
Oh, that would be early in 1972.
1972, yes. And when did Mr. Warren's fictitious company start to receive payments through this computer?
Oh, as far as we know, in August 1972.
1972. Not long after his last rejection?
That would be right, yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Swenloft.
Mr. Swenloft, do you share Mr. Warren's opinion of the management of UKPC?
Certainly not.
Would you call it competent then, Mr. Swenloft, to lose £120,000 over 2 years and not to notice until a mere accident exposed the fact?
Well,
I suggest the facts tend to support the opinion expressed by my client, then.
My Lord, I do not see how the efficiency of the management of this company can be relevant to the case.
Oh, nor can I at the moment, Mr. Golding.
Very well, my lord. I have a number of questions to put to this witness. I wonder if it might be a good idea to adjourn it.
Very well. Yes, we will adjourn for lunch. Members of the jury, you may discuss this case amongst yourselves, but not where you may be overheard. I will adjourn now.
All stand.
When you are ready, Mr. O'Connor.
Mr. Swenloft, would you say that Mr. Warren was good at his job?
well, yes, he was more than adequate, shall we say?
Oh, let's not say that. It's a little vague, isn't it? Are you saying that he wasn't very good at his job, or he was?
Oh, all right, I'd say he was.
Then if he was very good at his job, why was he not promoted?
My lord, I object. My learned friend has been at pains to point out that this line of questioning is irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to the prosecution, my lord, but the relationship between my client and his superior are of very great importance in his defence.
How is that, Mr. O'Connor?
Well, because it'll go a long way to explaining why he conceived this elaborate plan in the first place.
Very well. Well, let's get on.
Well, thank you, my lord. Well, Mr. Swenloft, you were going to tell us why my client was not promoted.
It was his attitude.
Could you elaborate, please?
Well, he had a very high opinion of himself and didn't trouble to hide it. Thought he was a bit clever.
A bit clever? And wasn't he?
Not so clever as he thought, I'd say.
Oh, I see. You thought him a bit big-headed.
Yes.
Bit of a clever Johnny, would you say?
Yeah, more or less.
Now, you did say, didn't you, speaking of your own knowledge of computers, I'm no expert.
Yes, I did say that.
Well, you could hardly say anything else, Mr. Swenloft. From what has been said, it would appear that Mr. Warren, not only, as you said, had the hang of it, he understood computers very well. Well enough to siphon off large sums of money and go undetected for 2 years. Is that not so?
Well,
While all you can do is to say, I'm no expert. On this evidence, Mr. Swenloft, and I suggest my client was exactly what he said he was, a good deal cleverer than you.
well, when it comes to computers, perhaps, but I mean, that doesn't excuse his general attitude.
Swenloft, when it comes to computers. And when it does, or rather, when computers came to UKPC, you were on the committee which made the important decisions, were you not?
Yes.
So you were instrumental in deciding to lease the computer, what sort of computer, and the sort of program and so on.
Yes, I was.
Tell me, was Mr. Warren on that committee?
No, he wasn't.
Why not?
It was a committee of heads of departments concerned.
It was a sort of a top management committee then.
Of course, yes.
And I hope, Mr. Swenloft, that the other members of this committee were more expert in these matters than you have confessed yourself to be. Do you think they were?
Well, I can't say about that.
Really, Mr. Swenloft? After sitting on this committee with people who are well known to you and meeting many times to discuss precisely these matters, you can't say whether they knew more or less than you? Well, I take it they did speak at these meetings. Mr. Swenloft, you were all at the very least awake,
My
were
lord,
you
this
not?
is wholly unwarranted.
Mr. O'Connor.
I'm sorry, my lord, I withdraw that statement. It was perhaps a little frivolous.
It was gratuitously insulting, Mr. O'Connor.
I apologise, my lord. Well, I suggest, Mr. Swenloft, that these other meetings, or other members, rather, of the committee, probably knew as much about the subject as you did. Would you agree?
Yes, I suppose so.
Then it would not be unfair or flippant in any way to suggest that you were probably not awake to all the implications of the decisions that you were taking at that time.
One might possibly say that.
Isn't it also true that if Mr. Warren bore some resentment against what he saw as inadequacy on the part of the management, you and your fellow managers also bore some resentment towards him?
No, that isn't true.
Oh, it isn't true that you resented the fact that here was a man, your junior, who was cleverer than you, knew what he was talking about when you didn't, and had the courage to tell you so?
No, I just don't think that's true.
Don't you? Do you recognise this, Mr. Swenloft? Exhibit 5, my lord. It's a memo from Mr. Warren to Mr. Swenloft, an agreed document. It was sent to everyone concerned with the leasing of the computer.
Very well.
Do you recognise this document, Mr. Swenloft?
Yes, I do.
Well, could you tell the court briefly what it contains?
Well, it contains Warren's views on the subject of computerising our accounts.
Yes, it does. Mr. Warren expresses his views quite forcibly in this memorandum, doesn't he?
One might well say that.
How would you sum up Mr. Warren's arguments here?
Oh, he was against the idea.
Or would you say he was against it on balance, or against it totally and utterly?
Well, he presents various points, and, well, yes, on balance, he's against it.
So he makes his points forcefully, but it's a reasoned argument all the same.
Yeah, one could say that.
Now, he says here that, in his opinion, many of the apparent gains in efficiency are largely illusory when a staff of people who can think for themselves, or could do so if encouraged, are to be replaced by a machine which can only do what it is told to do. Such efficiency may be bought at the cost of inflexibility. What did you think of that point?
Well, I mean, it was pretty obvious what was in his mind.
Was it?
Yes. He was afraid he was in for the chop.
In for the chop?
That he'd lose his job, my lord. When we went over to computers, there were redundancies.
You didn't think it could have been a genuine and reasonable argument all the same?
Well, I suppose that might possibly be true.
You didn't think so at the time?
As I say, one could read between the lines.
Mr. Warren continued to suggest some of the dangers you might be running. He says, the company seems unaware of the dangers that accounting by computer might involve. Specifically, that, in my opinion, the computer offers unprecedented opportunities for fraud on a grand scale, and even industrial espionage at the push of a button. Do you think they were reasonable points at the time?
We gave them some attention.
Well, in the light of events, do you now think that they were very reasonable points?
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, you could hardly do otherwise. The truth of them has been dramatically demonstrated.
In a manner of speaking.
Well, if you call £125,000 missing in a manner of speaking, yes. Mr. Warren goes on to outline various other dangers that he says are inherent in the computer system. Abstraction of records, deliberate or accidental destruction of information stored, the difficulties of auditing computer-processed accounts, the dangers of unauthorized access from remote terminals, including apparently any telephones. Well, I don't understand this, I'm afraid, but I've never been in your position. What do you think about this point?
As I've said, they were considered.
The point about the telephone?
Oh, a bit far-fetched. I believe it can be done with certain kinds of installations if you have a central computer connected to remote terminals, but at that time there were no immediate plans for any of these terminals.
Are there any now?
Well, yes. We now have two. One in London and one in Manchester.
Oh! So what a moment ago was just a far-fetched possibility is now a very real possibility, and a very dangerous one. So why did you not take this seriously?
I've never said we didn't take it seriously.
Did you call on Mr. Warren to expand on his arguments?
Well, no. We felt he'd said all he had to say.
Did you? You didn't call him up to the committee to talk over these points?
No.
Then what did you do?
I sent him a memo thanking him for his comments.
Oh, yes, you did. Mr. Warren believes that your reply was contemptuous.
Not at all.
Neither you nor anyone else on the committee asked Mr. Warren to send this memo, did you?
No.
It was quite unsolicited. Wouldn't it be fair to say that you thought it just another instance of Mr. Warren being a clever Johnny?
Well, I mean, to some extent it was. He had a habit of telling people how to do their jobs.
And so you could shrug it off.
I wouldn't quite use that expression.
Well, dismiss it then.
I did send Mr. Warren a memo in reply.
Oh, indeed you did. I have it here. Exhibit 6, my lord, a memorandum from Mr. Swenloff to Mr. Warren.
Yes.
I'd like to read it, if I may.
Very well.
Thank you for your comments on the computer business. The board has decided to lease a datum 165000. Bearing in mind your interest, concern and obvious knowledge on the subject, it has been agreed that you should be the one to take a special interest in matters relating to the transition to computer, particularly with regard to security and so on. The board may call on you whenever it feels need for a report on the new system. Any additional responsibility this entails will, of course, be borne in mind at the next salary review. You remember sending this, Mr. Swenloft?
Yes?
Would you think it fair to describe it as a brush-off, Mr. Swenloft?
No, not entirely.
Brush off, Mr. O'Connor? What would that be?
Contemptuous rebuff, my lord.
Thank you.
That is what it is, wouldn't you say?
No, I'd merely call it a polite memo.
Oh, it's polite. Even nicely phrased. But it doesn't suggest that Mr. Warren's comments have been taken too seriously. It asks him to take a special interest, but it doesn't define this interest or limit it or give the job a name. It merely refers to matters involved with regard to security and so on. Now, did the board ever, in fact, call on Mr. Warren for a report on the new system?
No, not as far as I can remember.
No, it didn't. Can you honestly believe there was any real idea that it would?
Well, no. Not really, no. But you have to keep people happy, don't you?
Quite. And was this somewhat notional responsibility taken into account at the salary review next following?
No, I don't think so.
Of course it wasn't, because however polite, this was a rebuff. Do you expect Mr. Warren to take this additional responsibility seriously?
Well, no, not really. I knew he'd busybody around anyway.
And does it surprise you to learn that Mr. Warren did take your suggestion seriously?
I'm not all that sure he did.
Well, did he ever make any recommendations or suggestions to you on the subject?
Well, yes, I did get copies of memos he sent. But he was a great writer of memos. I had to keep reminding him they should be just that, a brief note of something to be remembered, not a philosophical treatise.
Did you pay any attention to them?
Well, I'm quite sure I read them.
What sort of things did they mention, then?
Well, right now I can't actually remember offhand. Oh, yes, he was quite insistent that all the punch cards should be locked away, yes.
Mr. Warren ever point out to you the danger of tampering with the programme, of inserting cards into the stack for the purposes of fraud?
Yes, I suppose so.
So, in fact, it does not come as a surprise to you to learn that Mr. Warren took his responsibility for computer security seriously. On the contrary, you were well aware of the fact.
Oh, well, in a sense. He was just trying to make himself important.
Oh, you thought it was a scheme for self-aggrandisement. And did other people think as you did?
Well, yes. It was typical of the man.
Did Mr. Warren ever put forward the idea of a computer security committee?
Yes, I believe he did.
Was such a committee ever formed?
No.
Why not? Did you dismiss that too as a hobby horse of self-importance?
Yes, I suppose so. I can't really say why.
Even though Mr. Warren had pointed out all these dangers in a system that you, by your own admission, didn't understand at all. The court will not be surprised to learn that Mr. Warren found it necessary to drive into your heads by force of example when he could not get in by reason alone. And to do that, he created Midland Rapper as an exercise for the benefit of people like you, Mr. Swenloft, for no other purpose and with no other intention. I've no further questions for this witness, my lord.
That concludes the case for the prosecution, my lord.
I call Samuel Warren. Mr. Warren, it has been stated that you were, on balance, opposed to the introduction of the computer. Is that so?
Yes.
Did you argue your objections in this memo, Exhibit 5?
Yes.
I see here that you list numerous points: unauthorized access, sabotage, industrial espionage, fraud, accidental destruction of records, and much, much more. Do you still consider these to be valid points?
I do, yes.
You also stated that you consider that the introduction of the computer would result in a period of confusion and chaos.
Yes.
Was this prophecy fulfilled?
Oh, yes.
Well, how? What sort of things happened, please, Mr. Warren?
Accounts were lost track of. Work was duplicated all over the place. People who learned to use the new system were unable to work alongside those people who hadn't. The result was chaos.
Did you feel that this justified some of the things you said in your memo?
Yes.
Did you consider that these difficulties were inevitable?
Well, when you totally reorganize the entire accounts department of a firm as big as ours, you're bound to create confusion.
And going over to computer involved a considerable degree of reorganization.
You couldn't conceive of a greater degree of reorganization, no.
Had you any idea how this reorganization should be approached?
Yes. If we had to have it, then, as far as I was concerned, we should have progressed with very great caution.
You suggested that, did you?
Yes. In a number of conversations with Mr. Swenloft, I even outlined the phases I thought we might go through.
Was any notice taken of your advice?
None whatsoever, no. No, they plunged ahead.
Well, in what spirit would you say they plunged ahead?
A kind of lunatic euphoria. They decided that we had to have a computer, and that was it. I think they thought it showed what jolly progressive people they all were. Looks good in the annual general reports, that sort of thing.
Do you not yourself consider a computer to be a useful thing?
Oh, useful, yes, but not absolutely vital. You don't have to have one. The management seemed to think that we did. Have to have one, that is.
Well, there must have been some advantages, Mr. Warren, because, after all, managers are well known to be conservative in money matters, and computers are, after all, very expensive.
Yes, but under the sort of leasing arrangements that we made, a lot of the cost can be discounted against tax.
Oh, Mr. Warren, there were other considerations which were influential in the decision to computerize.
Oh, yes. Yes, take the wage bill, for example. Now, install a big computer and you can shove, what, a score of people into the queue at the labour exchange. Mind you, you have to give it better working conditions than the people ever got.
Mr. Warren.
It's got to be spotlessly clean
Mr. Warren.
or air-conditioned or it won't work at all.
Mr. Warren, nevertheless, you are not against computers as such.
The case of the Queen against Warren continues tomorrow in the Crown Court. Samuel Arthur Warren is accused of the fraudulent use of his employer's computer, by which he caused £125,000 to be paid into a bank account that he had opened. The prosecution has shown how this was done, and that Warren had the necessary knowledge and opportunity. When arrested, Warren did not deny any of this, but refused to make a statement, and he pleads not guilty to the charge of dishonestly falsifying accounts. Warren is now in the witness box.
Mr. Warren, in your opinion, did the management of UKPC understand computers?
Anything but. Mind you, I'm sure they're learning, slowly. But initially, they were only too happy to hand over everything to do with the company's cash flow to a bunch of magnetic tapes and punch cards without understanding one half of the implications.
Did you consider that you did understand all the implications?
No, far from it. Just rather more of them than those taking the decisions.
Did you entertain a high opinion of these people?
As professional management, no.
Did you dislike them?
As people? Not particularly. If I may say so, they are typical of their kind.
In what way typical, Mr. Warren?
Well, the further up the hierarchy they get, the more time they spend in justifying their position. Not actually by filling it, but by an obsession with the perks and the prestige and the self-importance and so on. UKPC has some rather classic examples of the Peter Principle, if you're familiar with that.
Well, I confess that I am not, Mr. Warren. Perhaps you could enlighten me.
Well, it's a sort of blinding glimpse of the obvious. It suggests that in any organisation where promotion depends on being competent, then people go on being promoted until they finally reach a level where they aren't competent anymore. And they stay there.
Who is it who puts forward this principle?
A Professor Lawrence J. Peter in a book called The Peter Principle, or Why Things Always Go Wrong.
I see. Thank you. Yes, Mr. O'Connor?
Did you think this phenomenon was manifest in UKPC?
Oh, yes.
These men, however, in UKPC were planning to introduce a computer. Was that not a progressive point or idea?
Oh, yes. Every so often they have a great leap forward, and invariably they tend to fall flat on their faces. Yes.
Now, it has been said that you knew something about computers and you took an interest in such matters. Is that true?
Yes.
You have a degree in mathematics, have you not?
That's right, yes.
Have you ever used a computer before?
At university, it was a very small one. It was considered to be something of a toy at that time.
Was that computer anything like the one at UKPC?
No. Same principles, of course, but very much less sophisticated.
But the same principle?
Yes.
Yeah.
As far as you knew, had any of the men on Mr. Swenloff's committee enjoyed your advantage in this respect?
No.
Were they aware that you had some experience, however limited, in this field?
Yes, I had mentioned it.
Yet we've heard that they did not consider it worthwhile to seek your advice or act on it when it was offered. What sort of response did you get to this memo?
Well, I got back the other memo from Mr. Swenloff, the one there.
Did you think Mr. Swenloff's memo indicated that you've been taken seriously?
Far from it.
Why not? Do you have any idea?
Well, I was too junior, and they didn't like me.
Why not, Mr. Warren?
Well, as I've already explained, they had become entrenched within a framework of their own incompetence. And I was rather more competent than they were, and they knew it.
Mr. Swenloff suggested that you were against the computer because you were afraid for your job. Is that true?
No, not at all.
Your memo, you think, was not taken seriously. Did you take Mr. Swenloff seriously?
Yes.
Why?
Because it gave me, in general terms, responsibility for computer security.
And did you take that responsibility seriously?
I took that responsibility very seriously indeed, yes.
So what did you do then, Mr. Warren?
Well, unlike some incompetent people that I could name, I'm not averse to listening to expert advice, so I contacted an expert in computer security.
Who was that, please?
A man called Milton. Edward Milton. He's a security consultant.
And what did he tell you?
Well, he quite simply confirmed what I'd already thought. And I remember he said at one point that the only way to get it across to them was to hit them where it hurts and to make them bleed money. And he said he was familiar with the type of security risks prevalent at UKPC. And it was after this conversation with him that I became convinced that the countermeasures I was considering, well, perhaps I should say planning, were justifiable.
Did you talk to him a great deal?
No, just the one phone call. I mean, no one was paying him. He wasn't to give me the benefit of his advice. I just wanted his comments.
So what did you do?
Well, it's all been explained in court. I acted as if I was a man bent on stealing a large amount of money. And I asked myself how he would do it, And having worked it all out, I put it into practice.
I see. You acted as if you were bent on stealing a large sum of money. And were you?
No. I was proving a point.
And the method that has been so laboriously detailed by my friend was the method that you used, was it?
Yes, that's right.
Was it the only method that you could have used?
No, there were several others I could have used, but this was the best for what I had in mind.
Why was that?
Well, because once I'd updated the information, I didn't need to do anything else, except delivery notes, and stationery is a fairly simple matter. You see, I mean, I could just let the system go on paying out indefinitely.
Did you ever think that you might be discovered?
I thought that was possible, yes.
Didn't the possibility worry you?
No, I still think I've made my point, but it seemed to me that I wasn't going to be discovered except by accident, and a security system that depends on accident, well, it just isn't a security system.
Did you intend to disclose the facts and the details of what you had done?
Yes. I decided that when I reached the sum of £150,000, now that seemed to me to be a very frightening sum of money indeed, that I'd write out a cheque for that amount and I'd send it directly to Gilpin.
Gilpin? Who's Gilpin?
Sir Joseph Gilpin, he's chairman of UKPC.
You intended to go straight to the chop, then?
Yes, well, there wasn't much point talking to all the deadheads in the middle. I already knew that.
Did you expect Sir Joseph Gilpin to react favourably?
Well, yes. If someone drops £1 and you pick it up and give it to them, they're usually pretty pleased, aren't they? And this would have been £150,000.
Quite, but don't you think he'd have found your actions unorthodox, even outrageous?
Actually, I think he might rather have appreciated that. I believe that in his time he's done some rather unorthodox things himself.
What did you hope to gain, Mr. Warren?
Well, as I say, recognition of the fact, and I realise this must sound very lame now, but at the time I thought if I played my cards right, I could end up on the board.
Did you think that was a reasonable expectation?
Well, if UKPC was concerned to stop people running away with their money, yes, it was.
Mr. Warren, did you spend any of the money paid to Midland Wrapper?
No.
Not a penny of it?
No.
Or any of the not inconsiderable interest that accrued?
No.
Why not?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wouldn't that have constituted a criminal action?
Were you ever tempted to spend that money?
Well, who wouldn't have been?
What did you do with the chequebook that went with the account?
I destroyed that. I put it through the paper shredder at work.
Yes, but you could have got another, did you?
I didn't want another one around. I didn't want to do anything criminal. I've no desire to end up in jail. I simply wanted to prove my point, that it could be done, and done over a long period. And, above all, I wanted them to acknowledge that I was right. To be frank with you, I wanted to rub their noses in it.
Thank you, Mr. Warren.
Mr. Warren, you must have been well aware of how much money was going into this account that you'd opened.
Yes.
Can you remember how much was paid in during the first 6 months?
Oh, about £25,000.
And during the second 6 months? Would £40,000 be about right?
Yes, about.
It seems you gained in confidence as you went along.
Well, with reason, yes.
And in the remaining 8 months of this deception, how much did you cause to be paid?
The balance of about £60,000.
£60,000. You were growing very confident indeed.
Yes, with reason.
Okay, increasingly more greedy, perhaps?
No, it just seemed to me that that's what a real thief would do. He'd milk it.
And that's what you did, didn't you? You milked it.
I was deliberately trying to push the system to the limits.
Because you knew how easy it was?
Yes.
Yes. I put it to you, Mr. Warren, that you became increasingly greedy exactly as a real thief would have done, because you were, in every sense, that real thief.
No, I didn't touch the money. I mean, if I'd been this real thief
you had it in your
power
to spend this money. And I suggest to you the reason you didn't was that the more you got, the more you wanted, and that is why you didn't spend.
No, I mean, look, as far as I was concerned, the money was, well, like tokens, counters, monopoly money, if you like.
Are you saying you thought of this thing as a game?
More or less, yes. A very serious game, though.
Well, you became obsessed with this game, did you not?
I wouldn't say obsessed, exactly, no.
You played this game continuously for 20 months, Mr. Warren, and showed no signs of stopping. I wouldn't say obsessed was too strong a word. I further suggest that had you not become so obsessed, you would have got out sooner and taken that money with you.
No, I had no intention of doing that.
Well, may I ask you then, Mr. Warren, how you intended to place this cheque for £150,000 on the desk of Sir Joseph Gilpin, as you've said you intended to do, when you have already told us that you put the entire chequebook through the shredder at work and kept not one single cheque? And if you say, as you say, you intended to reveal all and hand back this money, why did you not do so?
Well, as I've already explained, I was waiting until I had exactly £150,000, which was to prove my point.
Oh, come, Mr. Warren, how much was needed to prove your point? Would not a mere £5 have sufficed?
Wouldn't have had quite the same impact, would it?
Then surely £1,000 would have been quite emphatic.
Perhaps.
Perhaps? Then £10,000 would surely have been very emphatic indeed, would it not? Of course it would. This wasn't a game, was it, Mr. Warren? This was a plan to enrich yourself. And I suggest that had you not become so intoxicated with your own cleverness that your greed began to outstrip itself, this flimsy, ramshackle and wholly ludicrous story about you having done it all as an exercise in security with the best interests of the company at heart is just something dreamed up by your obviously inventive imagination when you had been discovered. Yes, it's a pretty story, Mr. Warren, in which you play what? I suppose the good fairy in disguise. But like all fairy stories, it is thoroughly unbelievable.
Mr. Milton, would you tell the court what your work involves, please?
I'm retained by the Datum Business Machine Corporation as a security consultant. Datum sells and leases computers, and I examine client setup and, well, plug up security loopholes.
I see. Now, Mr. Warren claims to have discovered these loopholes at UKPC. Would you agree with that?
Yes, he was obviously aware of some of the problems involved at any rate, and at least one major gap in security.
The device that Mr. Warren used, is that the sort of thing you would look for?
Yes, sir. That sort of exploitable weakness, yes.
In the course of your work, Mr. Milton, do you ever use techniques such as Mr. Warren employed? I mean, in the course of demonstration, that is.
Yes, I do. I try to examine all the means that somebody might go about cheating the system, and I try them out at least in theory. Then I advise what should be done about it.
Have you ever caused a client's computer to pay out a large sum of money to you?
Yes, I have.
Without their knowledge?
Yes.
Could you explain what you do in such a case and why, please?
Yes, I might go to a client's establishment, not disclosing who I was. I might get in there by saying I was an engineer or a software salesman, something like that.
Software?
In the computer business, the machine itself, the electronics and all the ancillary gear, that's the hardware. The cards, the tapes, the programs, that's software.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Milton. Go on, go on.
Well, I might get in there using such a pose. I can talk my way around the subject, obviously. In the worst cases, I don't have to. I just walk in. Then I've done my homework on the system, and I put into effect some fraudulent device that I've thought up.
What do you do then?
Well, what I find to be the best technique is I arrange a meeting with the management of that company a few days later and make it seem as if it's going to be some kind of a preliminary meeting.
Would they know anything at all of your previous visit?
Not if I'm working well.
And what happens at this meeting, then?
Well, I open my case exactly as if I'm getting out some literature or notes or something, and I place a check on the table. A check I've caused them to pay out to me on my previous visit.
Well, I imagine that produces a certain effect.
It does produce a certain degree of shock. That's the idea.
And might it be for a very large sum, this check?
The bigger, the better.
The bigger, the better. Quite. And what is the usual reaction? I mean, after the initial shock?
Well, they tend to get pretty neurotic about security. They listen, and they tend to do what you tell them.
They don't remain complacent, then?
Any complacency they might have felt, that gets knocked right out of them, except they might feel more complacent about paying my fee, which is not inconsiderable. I only have to remind them that I could have walked away with much more.
Quite. Have you ever worried about the legality of such an undertaking?
No, sir.
Well, why not? Mightn't this be construed as stealing?
Well, when I hand over the check, I always say, look, I can run away with this and you can prosecute me, or I can hand it back and explain to you how I did it. Which would you rather I do? You can imagine the answer is always the same.
And you have never been prosecuted on this point?
No, never.
Have you done it often?
About half a dozen times in this country, more in the States.
Do you consider this the most effective way of doing your job?
Undoubtedly.
Do all companies buying or leasing computers from Datum Corporation engage your services?
No, sir, by no means.
Why not, Mr. Milton?
Well, I'm rather expensive, and the Datum Corporation probably doesn't plug me too hard.
Why not, Mr. Milton?
Well, when you're selling, you don't unduly emphasize that side of things. You put the goodies in the window.
If every computer user made use of your services, would you eventually find yourself redundant?
No, it is my certain belief that computer crooks are going to go on getting smarter every day. I'm going to be kept busy the rest of my life just trying to keep up with them.
And do you think that the business world in general is aware of this point?
Oh, by no means.
Well, do you think that the captains of commerce and industry should be made aware?
Of course I do. That's how I make a living.
Now, did you ever receive a communication from UKPC?
No, just an informal approach from Mr. Warren.
Well, would you tell us when that was and what it was about, please?
Early in '72, he said he was responsible for security there, but he just couldn't get the message across to some of the people.
Did you give him advice?
Not exactly advice. I wanted to be friendly, you know. I thought maybe I could be called in there.
So what did you do?
I listened. He seemed to have the right ideas, and I told him so.
Did you advise him to undertake a practical demonstration?
I didn't advise him as to what he should do, no.
Well, did you ever use the phrase, you have to hit them where it hurts, make them bleed money?
I should think so. It's kind of my motto, you know.
What Mr. Warren did is very much in the strain of your motto, Mr. Milton. The sort of thing that you have done yourself previously, is it not?
It is similar, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Milton.
Now, in your work, Mr. Milton, you say you've stolen money many times for the purposes of demonstration. Now, how long would a cheque, such as you mentioned, normally remain in your possession?
A few days, rarely more than a week.
And it always goes back virtually as soon as you get it?
Yes.
Yes. Now, can you see any advantage to be gained from an indefinite repetition of such a fraudulent device?
No. I have better things to do with my time. One check's always been enough to shock everybody I've dealt with so far.
One cheque is always enough?
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Milton.
One final question, Mr. Milton. I take it that your clients acknowledge you to be an expert. Are they very ready to listen to you?
Well, I should think so. They're paying for the privilege. They ought to.
Yes, well, would your job be harder if you were not accepted as an expert?
Yes, of course it would.
Thank you, Mr. Milton.
Thank you, Mr. Milton. You may leave the witness box.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm calling no further witnesses, my lord, and that concludes the case for the defence.
Ladies and gentlemen, the accused claims that the elaborate theft he perpetrated, misappropriating the enormous sum of £125,000 over a period of 20 months, an action which he admits to having committed. The accused now claims that everything he did was in the nature of an exercise, and that he never intended to keep the money. Well, members of the jury, if that were the case, you may well care to ask yourselves a number of questions. Firstly, why did he not make a statement to this effect to the police at the time of his arrest? I suggest the answer is he hadn't thought of it at the time. Secondly, why did he not make his grand gesture of revealing all to Sir Joseph Gilpin when he had reached the substantial sum of, say, £1,000? Which I calculate was probably stolen within approximately the first month. For you will remember the clear statement from the defence witness, Mr. Edward Milton, that to make the point about security, one cheque is enough, and that such a cheque would remain in his possession for a few days, but rarely more than a week. And yet Mr. Warren was still playing his supposed game and amassing the considerable sum of £125,000 after 20 months. A game which I suggest, ladies and gentlemen, might still be being played had not the human factor upset his computerized calculations. You may also ask yourselves why such a man, so obsessed with the detail and the careful planning of this exercise, if such it was, would have left no safeguard, such as a sealed letter with his bank manager to be opened in the event of such an arrest, explaining his motives for these continuing thefts. No, members of the jury, whether the accused devised this ingenious robbery out of frustration or resentment, or, as I suggest, out of malice, what may have begun as an obsession to show these pompous penguins, as he referred to them, some of the security arrangements, the loopholes in them for UKPC, became an obsessive desire to accumulate a vast...
Prosecution has suggested that a degree of obsession took hold of my client. And perhaps that is true. Certainly he had a single-minded desire to make demonstrably clear that what he had said and what had been ignored was true, and that the threat, as he saw it, was a very real one.
And so, members of the jury, what is disputed is the accused's motive. Now, the prosecution claims that he was motivated by a desire for gain, and that desire was spurred on by a certain resentment or malice he bore his superiors. Now, the defence claims that a resentment, a mutual resentment, existed between Mr. Warren and his superiors, and did indeed stimulate him, but only insofar as it drove him to take extraordinary measures in order to prove himself right and them wrong. However, these extraordinary measures put at his disposal a very large sum of money. The defence claims that he never intended to use that money, that he intended to return it, and it is a matter of fact that he did not use it. However, here you may have to consider whether, at any point during his long and successful period of false accounting, the accused intended to use that money for himself. Now, before you could return a verdict of guilty, you would have to be entirely satisfied that the accused intended to use that deception to obtain the money for himself. If you think that is not established, that he had no such intention, then you must return a verdict of not guilty. Will you now please retire and consider your verdict?
All stand. Members of the jury, will your foreman please stand? Just answer this question, yes or no. Have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant Samuel Arthur Warren guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Next week, you can join another jury and assess the facts when our cameras return to watch a leading case in the Crown Court.